Good afternoon and welcome to the Norfolk County Commissioners meeting of Thursday, May 21st, 2026 at 1 p.m. I'm going to start reading the executive order on remote participation. On March 28, 2025, Governor Healy signed the law House Bill 62, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, which includes a 2-year extension of the option for public bodies to hold remote meetings by suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Sections 18 through 25. That action was effective immediately, extending the current option for remote meetings through June 30th, 2027. Votes may be taken on any of the items listed here during the agenda. Call to order. So we'll start with a roll call. Pledge allegiance? Yes?
Oh,
Yeah.
do pledge first.
Yeah, do the pledge first. Richard, do you want to lead us in the pledge?
Sure. You want me to want it? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, roll call. Richard Stady.
I am present, sir.
Peter Collins, I am present. We have a quorum present of the County Commissioner Board. Joseph Shea, our chairman, is out of the office on county business today. Item 3, executive session. We have no executive session today. Item 4, minutes. Richard, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Yep, I move approval of the open session of May 13 as presented.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, unanimous. And then we have another one of that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the executive session as presented for May 13th with the stipulation not to be released until such time that it's voted class.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, unanimous. Okay, next. Item 5, appointments, electric vehicle charging station presentation, 1 p.m. John.
Thank you, Commissioner Collins. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Commissioners, you may recall about a year ago, we were engaged by a firm that assisted in submitting electric vehicle charging station applications to the State Department of Environmental Protection. They had a grant program which provided funding to install these charging stations. And I think if you recall, the plan was to put them in each of the county properties. The plan went forward to the state, and after several months, the state turned the program back. They wanted some modifications. We effectively abandoned that vendor in that process. We have now been approached by a new vendor, Mr. Matt Tuttleman. He has engaged us this afternoon. He wishes to come before you, talk a little bit about his firm's plan and how it can benefit the county's interest in this type of thing, as you so decided about a year ago. So I would like to introduce to you Mr. Matt Tuttleman, who I know is with us virtually. And through you, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
Hi, Matt. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you for your time and the ability to speak before you. I will say, this is interesting with the formality of meetings like this virtually, and it was nice to see you guys with the Pledge of Allegiance. There are still the things that make us remember where we are. So thank you for your service to our community writ large.
Okay. Well, that you have John, Paul, George, and Ringo behind you, so we like that.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, yeah, me and my buddy. So little non sequitur. So back in early 2020, right at the onset of the pandemic, I had the great misfortune of blowing out my Achilles tendon and had to spend 6 weeks with absolutely no weight. I was flat on my butt. My wife picked these up. This is a set of Legos that Lego makes with literally, like, each one of those is about 3,800 little mosaic dots. Each kit could make any one of the 4, and then if you buy 4, you can get the whole white album going. So that's about 13,000 little circular Legos into an amazing mosaic wall piece, and it's a great conversation starter.
There you go.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. So I highly recommend not blowing out your Achilles. Otherwise, you too can be a Lego maniac.
I'll keep that in mind. That's good to know. That's great to know.
It was a good filler of time. You can imagine how unbelievably humbling not being able to put any weight on not being able to walk for 6 weeks while the surgery repaired itself or healed before therapy. So, but needless to say, Um, Thank you very much again. John, I think that you spoke accurately, but there was a little bit of a tweak that I'd just like to maybe adjust in the conversation. So the opportunity that was presented to the county was through a company known as EVSE Solutions, and they presented I think it was like 6 or 8 sites throughout the county. I have a list of them, although it's in a long format proposal, to provide level 2 infrastructure, level 2 charging through the county, throughout the county at no cost to the county. And that's still that company's intent. What John said was that there were applications that were submitted to the Mass EVIP program, which was being administered by the Massachusetts DEP, and that during that process there was some changes with how the EVIP team was administering the disbursement of those funds. And so in the summer of 2025, the utilities filed with the Department of Public Utilities the MTM, the midterm modification, which moved funds around so that it actually allowed for structural changes in how they were implemented. And the result was that in early 2026, the revised EV programs were released. One major change was that the regulators removed the requirement that all projects had to be funded first by Mass DEP using EVIP. This was a huge relief to the agency, and working with the utilities is much more streamlined by their teams, which are more experienced in program implementation and management. And so now EVIP handles smaller projects that applicants may not be eligible for, located in certain utility service territories, like the municipal service territories, Brockton Municipal Light, Norwood, etc. So the effects of this are still being felt, and basically, what we have been able to do, or what EVSE Solutions has been able to do, is resubmit the documents that you've already agreed to, or on behalf of customers that have already agreed to, back to the utilities. And so other communities like the town of Southbridge, the town of Claremont, the city of Quincy, have all basically said, yes, we still wish to continue with the strategy which was originally signed on for. And we're frustrated, just as anyone is, with the fact that the DEP and Mass EVIP was unable to get through the administrative process in a timely and accurate manner. But EVSE Solutions is resubmitting applications for the signed agreements now back to the utility. And really what we're just looking for is an acknowledgement from the county that you wish to proceed under the same zero cost initiative that you originally signed up for a year and a half ago. So let me pause there.
Okay. That wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So it's helpful that you explained it in the way that you did.
That's all I'm here for. I'm just the messenger.
The commissioners would have to talk about it once again. And one of my concerns, if this makes any sense, is that the electric charging industry and electric cars and all that industry is advancing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the very beginning, we were interested in the fast chargers. And then suddenly they weren't available. They were all used up. And we had to go for the second best version of the fast chargers. But now it's been all this time since, I think I'd want to know what you can offer us, what you can offer us in terms of the charging stations. And our chairman isn't here today, so he's going to definitely want to weigh in on this.
Sure. So let me address those questions. Those are really very straightforward and easily addressed, right? So the market, when you talk about these electric, oh,
Sorry, keep going.
okay, sorry. When we discuss these electric vehicles, right, there are three levels of charging, which, are just so that you all are on the same page with the basics, right? When you buy one of these electric cars or lease one of these cars, typically they're going to give you a portable charging device, which any homeowner can use by plugging it into a standard 110-volt outlet in their garage. And it slowly charges the car very slowly, about 1% or about 3 miles per hour. But a lot of people who have short commutes, that works for them. More people that have longer commutes, and most communities which are looking to provide an amenity so that when people come to the town and they're strolling for lunch, or they're going to the courthouse for multiple hours on end, those individuals would use level 2 charging, and that's typically going to be a 40 or a 50 amp load. And that's going to provide, approximately 7 to 10% of that battery, or about, I don't know, maybe 15 miles of electricity range per hour. These are really the types of chargers which are highly desirable for people that have to use municipal infrastructure, and they're going to be using it for a couple of hours, 1, 2, 3 hours at a clip, because of how they're using the system, the infrastructure of the state. Then you've got the fast chargers, right? And the fast chargers are these high voltage equipment. The level 1 and level 2 use typical alternating current. These level 3s use direct current. And because of that, they're very expensive infrastructure. That was those subsidies for those level 3s were really being designed and implemented for locations along major access points, for people that were going to be, on and off the highways, and using it for longer duration. So it is unfortunate that those larger funds did expire, but the reality is the level 2 charging is what we need as society writ large, to have it for the convenience of using the infrastructure. Now, what has changed really since the conversation was started with Norfolk County was that the systems that were proposed were a dual port 80 amp, so 80 amps per pole, and each pole has 2 plugs, right? And so if one car was plugged in, that single vehicle could receive the full 80 amps. And when 2 vehicles are plugged in, they would share those 80 amps, or about 40 amps apiece. The technology hasn't changed all that much, but what is now available is a dual port, like 100 amp, so 50 amps a plug, but the cost is still the same because of advances in the technology, and the scaling of the technology creating more volume, and volume creates lower pricing. So what we would propose is, assuming that you guys have the discussion, assuming the individual who is not present today would be present at the next conversation, and we could have and we could be back to answer any and all those questions again. What we would like to propose in advance of that conversation is a refresh of the proposals that had already been signed off on. So each of the sites with the new refreshed hardware and the confirmed zero cost initiatives. And then you all could review that, determine if that's still in line with what your original goals were as far as deploying this technology throughout your community at no out-of-pocket cost to your community. And then if you wish to move forward, then, you know, signing those proposals the same way you signed the first ones. And then we would start to resubmit those applications to the utility on your behalf.
Richard, you good?
Yeah, so Matt, you're basically working either with or for our vendor or the person that was with us before
Yeah,
to facilitate this?
I'm an affiliate of that organization, sir.
Okay. Okay. I'm my own personal opinion is I've been pushing for this since last year. I'm a big proponent of going green. It sounds like still this is our best option, and we want to get this done. But in deference to our chair who's not here, we
Yep.
need to have a discussion when he's back. So probably we'd ask you to come back and be available for any questions he may have. But I know the goal is to have a faster unit, but that's out there, and it's going to be out there for a 95, 495, the highways. To
Yep.
get something in place in our courts, at our golf course, at our school, I think would be a big step forward. So I would endorse it. And you're saying
Okay.
basically, you'd say we'd be resubmitting, you'd shepherd it through the stages of what has to be done. Sounds
Yes.
like
Yeah.
you'd handle it.
Unfortunately, the bureaucracy at DEP was just that. It got mired down in bureaucracy. I mean, not that the utilities are any less bureaucratic, but they are in the business of selling electricity, and
Yeah.
so you know, they want to see this as well. So I'm glad that you feel that it's still something that is important to the county. What I would be more than happy to do as I had mentioned just a moment ago, is in advance of the next meeting with the chair, is I
Yeah.
will refresh the proposals so that we can see the update, right? Which would include a little bit faster technology. That's good. Not as fast as the DC fast charging.
Mhm.
The 50 amp versus the 40 amp. And then, you know, we'll present that in the next go around. And assuming that everything is copacetic and you guys approve it, then we'll continue to champion it on your behalf.
Okay, if I could, Mr. Chairman, or Acting Chairman, whatever the proper title is. Two other
I think temporary.
to Deborah Chairman. Two follow-up questions then, Matt. So number
Sure.
one, when Mr. Valari and his company came before us, which I think was almost a year ago, I think, if
Yep.
my memory's right,
Yep.
we asked him at the time, what do you anticipate the time frame in terms of when we might see this to fruition? I'm probably maybe out of order, but I'll throw it at you again to think about or have it ready for next week. What
Yeah,
would
no, it's
be
not out of order at all. So
what would be okay? Go ahead.
we've been told by the utilities that
Okay.
upon resubmission,
Yeah.
utility turnaround time is currently 6 to 8 weeks from
Hmm.
completed project approval. Now, that let me just highlight that part of the statement: completed project approval, right? So there may still be a few weeks in advance of that with the collecting of paperwork, filling out the proper applications and getting approval. But once approved, then it's 6 to 8 weeks for them to fund the project. So, you know, there is a backlog, you know, because of, you know, just the sheer number of applications that have been submitted. But,
Yeah.
you know, we're confident that if we get your authorization to resubmit on your behalf, we would try to prioritize that with the utility and have a response back to you by the end of the summer for sure.
That'd be great. Okay. Second one. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yep.
So maybe by the fall, early fall, we might see something
Yeah, I
happen.
think so.
So second question: have you yourself had any success already working on behalf of other communities or towns or communities?
Yeah, we
Yes.
have. So as I mentioned earlier, Town of Southbridge, Town of Claremont, and City of Quincy have
Oh.
all not only signed back on, but have been approved by the utilities. And we are in the process of actually deploying and installing in those three communities.
Okay, great. All right, I'm set. Thank you. I'm all set. Thank you.
No, I'm all set. The only question I had, and Matt answered it, is I believe the commissioners should receive a written proposal, and it sounds like Matt's preparing to do that.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll absolutely do that.
Get that to us and we'll hopefully be able to act on it next week, hopefully.
Matt, thank you. Thank you
So
for-
do you,
That's
you
great.
guys meet, you guys meet weekly? Is that the
Every week.
cadence?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
We have 1
this,
week off in the summer, but we'll be meeting again next week.
okay, so this same 1 p.m. time slot next Thursday?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
But no,
Wednesday.
no. We meet on Wednesday. What happened? We had to switch it this week. But normally our meeting day is Wednesday, 1:00.
Okay, so we will be prepared for that cadence. I will work to get you the updated proposals in advance of that meeting so that you can review the documents, at during the meeting.
Before you go, because Memorial Day weekend, does he have to get something to us sooner? Or are we okay?
Yeah, typically we will post Friday
Yeah.
for Wednesday's meeting because of the holiday.
Yeah.
So, and frankly, the agenda is set by the chair, so we'll
Yeah.
have to talk to him about whether or not it fits with what's scheduled for next week, or
Yeah.
maybe the week
Okay.
after.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
definitely
mean-
in the next week or two.
Yeah,
So-
we don't want to get the certain legal procedures we have to follow. So the sooner you
100%.
get it in, the better. That's all.
Okay, so it sounds like what is it John that just spoke?
Yeah. Yeah.
What John said was, if we can submit to you by by Friday, then
Mhm.
you have the ability to potentially present it for next week's agenda. And
Exactly.
because if we don't, then we'll follow up the subsequent week.
There you go.
That's one avenue. The chair also sets the agenda, and if you get us the material by Friday, he may say, based on what is lining up for next Wednesday, we got a full agenda. Let's put them off to the following week.
Okay,
So
I get it.
it's the chair's discretion on what goes on the agenda. So we'll talk with him after we get your proposal.
That sounds wonderful. Well,
And we'll
guys,
let you
thank you so much for
Thanks,
your
Matt.
time
Thank you.
today, and
Yep.
have a wonderful long Memorial Day weekend. And
You too.
we'll hope to get you something straight away. Okay.
Sounds good.
Take care, Matt.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Take care. Okay, that was item 5. Do we have any other appointments, Joe?
No, sir.
Okay, item 6 is public comments. So every week, we ask the public if they wish to make a comment with regard to county business. And we reach out, and no one is present. Did you receive any correspondence from anyone that wanted to reach out?
We have not.
Okay. And is there anyone using our chairman's language, anyone in Zoom land that wants to speak up today? Okay, moving on. Item 7, old business. Status update regarding IBM upgrade tech fund usage.
Mr. Chairman, good afternoon. The commissioners may recall that approximately 2 weeks ago, during the budget supplemental discussion, the chief information officer informed the commissioners that the county was facing the need for funding an upgrade to the IBM server that provides the registry with Brown Tech support, which is the major system at the registry. The total cost of that particular upgrade was over $200,000. The commission elected to have the chairman send the register a letter asking the register to consider funding that particular item through the so-called technology fund, which is controlled by the Register of Deeds. The letter asked for a response from the register on his interest in doing that by May 8th. As we sit here today, we've not heard from the register, so I want to report back to the commissioners. We have a no answer at this point, and I wanted to check with you to find out how you would like to proceed. Thank you.
Richard?
I'll defer to you.
I think it's important that the IBM system be upgraded. I think everyone acknowledges that. And the tech fund is usually used for this. In fact, it was used for this in the past, I believe. Perhaps a letter to the state directly from the county commissioner asking for usage of the tech fund for this, or at least informing them that we haven't received a response from our register with regard to the tech fund. And the state has a stake in this. Much of the money generated from the registry of deeds goes to the state. So it's not just Norfolk County, it's not just the individual departments of Norfolk County, and not just the citizens of Norfolk County. The state has a significant stake in this matter. The money that's generated there the money that's generated at the registry, much of it goes to the state. Most of it does. So if the register won't respond, then I think it prevails upon us to reach out to the state and ask for the money for the tech fund. Your thoughts, Richard?
Procedurally, would they be obligated to respond to us? So is this a fund Secretary of State gives to the registry, not the commissioners? So they wouldn't really have,
It's the registry.
without legal grounds for getting funds.
We can ask.
Can't
This,
ask,
this,
but-
this is new ground.
yeah,
So, but the state should know that their revenue source is presently in jeopardy. They should know this, and they should know that that the state tech fund has assets set aside to fix this particular issue.
I thought, I'm not trying to be argumentative. I thought when Registrar O'Donnell and his assistant, we had a discussion, and they basically said that fund had already been used for other purposes in terms of things they needed for their equipment or hardware or software and updates. I thought they had said they'd already used the money or used the funds.
They use some of the money. Well, you know what? So what happens is the registry requests money
Right,
for specific purposes
right.
from the fund, and they made a request for some other items, but it's not that they don't have a cap.
Right.
They don't have a cap on the money that they asked for.
Okay. Okay.
So the fact that they asked for some other items that needed to be done are fine.
Well,
But-
I'm not sure if we got a hard no. Yeah, it's not just I'm not sure I want to do it right now, but it wasn't a hard no. Maybe a suggestion might be, just a suggestion, is we write directly to the Secretary of State
Yes.
and copy the register on it.
Sure.
And, or maybe write to the register or O'Donnell and copy the Secretary of State on it. Let them know that we're seeking the funds and see if he would be willing again to access the funds. And if he doesn't, then we have to go to the Secretary of State directly, I guess, and plead that case, I guess. That makes sense? No, maybe,
Well, why don't we do this?
I mean, I'm kind of
Well,
nervous legally about going to the Secretary of State first without giving the Registrar O'Donnell one last chance.
all right. So this is what we'll do. The chair is in hopefully next week. We'll give it 1 week. Why don't you resend the letter to the register and explain that we want a decision on this by next week, or else we might have to go to the Secretary of State directly. And we would prefer to work with the register, but if the register doesn't respond, then we'll have to take action to protect the integrity of the computer work that's taking place over there.
So to be clear, the first letter came from the chairman through your voice.
Right.
You would prefer a follow-up letter to the register,
Yeah.
making clear we have not heard from him. We wish to hear from him before, and if you decide to take the necessary steps of contacting the Secretary of State's office.
Yeah.
Would that letter invite the register in to discuss this, or do you want to maintain a written dialogue on the topic? I mean, clearly this is an open meeting. You've posted for this item. We presume the register knew what was on the agenda, but if you want to be a little bit more forthcoming, we can invite him in to have a conversation about it before and if a letter goes to the state.
The register is always welcome.
Right.
Yeah.
So perhaps the next letter should make that more clear.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll talk to the chair about sending a follow-up letter and invite him for a follow-up meeting next week. And at a minimum, the opportunity to hear from the collective voice about next steps with the state if he decides not to appear.
That'd be great. Okay.
Okay.
Moving on to item 8, personnel matters for consideration.
Where is it? What do we have? Wallace Recreational Facility, Mr. Temporary Chair. I'll move forward. All right.
Temporary action.
Temporary acting. I move notice to rehire of Edward Boardney McDivitt as seasonal golf associate at the rate stated, effective date 5/21/26. So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
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 I also move 2 appointments, both notice of contingent employment for Matthew Kissiel and Karen Wilson as seasonal golf associates, both at the same rate stated, both effective date 5/22/26. So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, unanimous.
All right, and now go to the Norfolk County Agricultural High School. I move approval for notice of contingent appointment for Max Edmond as student labor. The rate stated, effective date 5/25/26. So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, unanimous.
I move the following approval of resignations for Christine Vallejo, Lauren Dorso, James Ordiali, Allison Palmer, and Emily Perron. I'll break that down. Let's do Christine Vallejo, Lauren Durso, and James O'Dialy as substitute instructors, and they're all resigning, and the effective date for all of them is 5/11/26. So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed,
The
unanimous.
last two, Commissioner, is a notice of resignation. Move approval for Allison Palmer and Emily Perron as student laborers, effective date 5/11/26. So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed,
That
unanimous.
completes that.
Terrific. Okay, on to item 9, payroll and expense warrants for approval.
Here, I will move the following for the warrant list of 520. In 1 second, here we go. I move approval for 26-46 payroll of the county, the sum $147,169.70. So moved.
Second, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, unanimous.
Second, move approval of the expense of the county of 050326, the sum $121,933.79. So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, unanimous.
Third, I move approval of 26-11A expense of the school, the sum $157,138.06. So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, unanimous.
And the last one, approval of 5-1926 DOR, Walsh Recreational Facility Sales Tax, the sum of $2,925.36. So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed,
That
unanimous.
completes the warrant list, Mr. Chairman.
Terrific. Okay, next. Item 10, renewal of intermunicipal agreement with the town of Needham for weights and measures inspectional services. John.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Before you is a renewal agreement for the town of Needham associated with the Sealer of Weights and Measures program. Mr. Buckley, who could not be with us today, conveyed a memo to me and you that basically saying it is now, believe it or not, the third year coming up on the establishment of this program, and we're beginning now to re-up the municipality agreements that each community had. Needham's first, so the one before you simply extends it for several more years. The fees associated with the program remain the same. So we are in a period of time now where I think it's quite clear the program is quite successful. It continues to grow, and the town of Needham agrees with the services. Obviously, Town Manager Katie King has endorsed this and is for you today for your approval as a renewal agreement with others to follow.
Rich, do you want to make a motion?
Yes, I will. It's a 3-year period, correct?
Yes.
Yep, and the payment and so on. So I would move approval of the renewal of the intergovernmental unit agreement for services of the certified sealer of weights and measures between the county of Norfolk and the town of Needham. I would make an approval effective on this date and for the rates stated within the agreement and for the period of time of 3 years, commencing July 1, 2026 and terminating June 30, 2029. So moved.
Perfect.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous. Terrific. Okay, item 11, report from the procurement department for bid openings and contract awards. Do we have anything today?
No, sir.
All right. Item 12, report of the county director. John.
Just a couple of items, Commissioners. Understanding last night was the trustees meeting. I know you have a graduation coming up soon with school. That's great.
Yeah.
I want to let the Commissioners know we are very active right now in interviews. We are interviewing for electrician, plumber, and deputy facility director. So we've made pretty good progress. I believe we've reached out and have extended offers for an electrician. Plumber is close. We'll see how that works out. And we have just begun yesterday the interviews for deputy facility director. I expect those interviews to go into next week, and we're not sure yet if a second round is needed. We'll figure that out after we see the candidates after the first round. That's a management position, has a lot more depth to the description. We want to make sure that the candidates understand what they're getting into, and we understand the candidate's skills to get there. So we're making good progress, and I just want to let the Commissioners know at the end of the day, our goal is to fill these positions as quickly as possible, but we're beholden to a labor market, and we're doing our best to get the best candidates before us. Other than that, I just wanted to alert the commissioners that Monday is a holiday. So we will be posting for your meeting next week on Friday. That is all I have right now. Thank you.
Great. Okay, item 13, emergency items and topics that the chair did not reasonably anticipate would be discussed. Anything from you, Richard?
I think it's appropriate, all of us want to pay tribute to the fallen and for the people, the men and women who serve us in many ways in different capacities, both the living and those who are deceased. We want to recognize their efforts and all the hard work they do. And we always said this Memorial Day weekend is especially a time to remember those who serve in the military, but remember our first responders and others as well who do an awful lot of good things for us on a daily basis without a lot of recognition. So we want to pay tribute to them today.
That was well said. Thank you. That was great. Okay, anything else?
No, but I will move that we adjourn at 1:37.
Okay, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, unanimous. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back next Wednesday.
Have a good Memorial Day.